Hey everyone, it's Courtney, aka Chicago Lit Girl. Sorry for the different quality of video. My camera just kept dying and dying. So I'm recording this on my laptop and I hope the quality is okay. I also hope all of you had a really good Thanksgiving break. I spent about a week in Tennessee and I had a really good time with my boyfriend. I ate like 8 different Thanksgiving meals, so I'll probably never want to eat again. I've seen a lot of people on BookTube talking about how November like a really terrible reading month for them. And I have to say that November was a really good reading month for me, especially coming off of October where I read I think 10 books, which is like really crazy for me. I usually don't read that much in a month, but I have a lot of extra time on my hands. I also have a kind of extended December TBR slash another library book haul, which it's going to be my last one for a while, and I will explain more about that later. The first book that I read this month was Thousand Words by Jennifer Brown. I took it back to the library already. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really enjoyed it. I have a full review up on www.thelitgirl.com, which I will link down below in my description. It's about a girl who sends a scandalous picture to her boyfriend who is about to leave for college and she doesn't want him to forget about her. Of course, the whole thing like blows up in her face. So I really liked it. Jennifer Brown did a really good job at tackling a timely subject without sounding really preachy, given what she was talking about. The next book that I read was Going Vintage by Lindsay Levitt. It is about Mallory. She finds a list in her grandmother's attic about these resolutions she has for her junior year. It really can't come at a better time because Mallory, one, just found out that her boyfriend is cheating on her with an internet wife named Bubble Yum, and two, she's about to start her junior year, sorry. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I thought it was really cute. I really liked how she was trying to live as close to 1962 as she could, but she only gave herself such a small time frame. She only had 2 weeks to complete this list that her grandmother had made in 1962. And that kind of gave room for a lot of cop outs, which made the fulfillment of the list a little bit disappointing for me. I also have a full review up of that, which I will link down below. The third book that I read this month was Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I saw the movie before I read the book, so I was kind of interested to see how that compared. It's about Pat Peoples. He's just gotten out of a mental institution. He swears it's only been a couple of months, but his family talks like it's been years. And he's been reading a lot of literature, trying to get fit so he can end the separation of him and his wife who split up with him. He went to the bad place. I really loved it. I thought it was really good and really interesting. I also have a full review of that on thelitgirl.com, which I will link down below. Basically, all of these books I have a written review of on my blog. The next book I rechecked it out from the library so I would have something to show you guys. And I read Weetzie Bat by Francesca Leah Block. I took a class with YA author Stephanie Keenard, and she really loves Weetzie Bat. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. But gave it a 4 mostly because this book has a really cool vibe to it. I felt like I was looking at Los Angeles through pink colored sunglasses. I thought it was really cool. It reads kind of like a fairy tale. It doesn't really get too into the feelings and thought processes of the characters. It just kind of happens, and we kind of just have to accept that that's what Weetzie's life is like. And I thought it was kind of cool. I didn't like how some of it played out. It reads kind of like a middle grade book, but some of the subject matter is for maybe older teens. The next book that I read was Holidays on Ice by David Sedaris. I thought it was hilarious. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Some of the stories didn't kind of grasp my attention as much as the other ones, but some of them made me cry because I was laughing so hard. I had a really good time reading it. It was a really quick read. I especially loved Santaland Diaries. I thought that was hilarious. And Season's Greetings. Some of them were so off the wall that I almost couldn't believe it, but I thought it was so good anyway. The next book I read was Skinny Bitch by Rory Friedman and Kim Barnewin. I read this one kind of because I've heard a lot about it with my friends, and of course, 2014 is coming up. I'm trying to get into the mode of living healthier. I didn't realize this book was about like becoming vegan, which wasn't an issue for me. I described this book to my boyfriend as shitting on everything that I love. If you love caffeine, it comes for you. If you love dairy, it comes for you. If you like sugar, it comes for you. And meat, which I guess it's about veganism, so that's expected. But I thought the facts were really good in the book. I really learned a lot about the food industry and veganism and stuff. I just really hated the tone that the authors use. They'll be like, drag your fat cankles to the grocery store and read this thing. Or go to the gym or you'll be fat ass forever. I don't know, it's just stupid. I was reading it and I feel like people who are reading it are looking to lose some weight maybe. And they probably say enough nasty things to themselves, they don't need to hear it from someone who they want help from. The next book I read was The Chosen One by Carol Lynch Williams. It's about Kyra. She lives in the Chosen Ones community. It's a secluded community, a polygamous community. I just watched a documentary about Warren Jeffs, so that kind of jumped out at me. She has been chosen by the prophet, which is like one of the creepiest characters I've read in recent times. She's been chosen by the prophet to get married, and she is to be the seventh wife to her uncle, her dad's brother, who is like 50 years older than her. She, of course, has to make the decision whether she wants to stay with her family, marry her uncle, and kind of go in with the way this community has always been, or if she would like to escape and be with the boy that she really likes and who she wishes she could choose for herself. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It was really creepy. I read it really quickly. I almost couldn't put it down. I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was The Girl on the Fridge by Edgar Carret. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I really liked the writing style in The Girl on the Fridge. Some of the stories were really engaging, and Edgar Carret does a really awesome job at picking those like perfect words to really make you feel what he's saying and gives you like a visceral response to everything that he's writing about. The one thing I didn't like was a lot of like the military-ish stories. It's not really like what I jive with, so I didn't really like those as much. Edgar Carret is also an Israeli writer, I believe, so you kind of have to know a lot about his culture to follow along with a lot of the stories, and I'm not the most like knowledgeable yet, so it was kind of hard for me to engage with and follow. The next book I technically finished today, so December 3rd, but I started it in November, and I don't know. I want to include it today because I need to take it back to the library. And that was Cat's Cradle by Kurt Vonnegut. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. As I said in my book haul, the colors of this cover like really hooked me in, and I loved it. It was so good. The characters in this book were so engaging, so funny. There was a lot of sarcasm, and I thought that there was like a lot of stakes. He's kind of coming after the children of the inventor of the atom bomb, and he knows that they have these chips of Ice-9, which technically like trains water molecules to turn into ice, which ultimately would bring on the end of the world. Really awesome book. I'm definitely excited to read some more of his books. And thanks to Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I have quite the book haul in the works. Like, I think I bought 13 books in the last 2 days, all for under like $35, which is insane. I bought 7 ebooks and 6 hard copies, which I will be sharing with you in a haul probably at the end of the month, especially after Christmas, because I know I'll probably get at least a book or two. So after buying all these books, looking at like all of these guys, I realize I have like dozens and dozens and dozens of books that I have not read but I own, and I just keep buying more and it's a problem. So I'm dedicating January and maybe February, because January and February Chicago will be like this Arctic wasteland. I probably won't even feel like walking 2 blocks to the library. So I'm gonna try and spend the month of January, maybe February, to reading books that I own. So this is like last real good like library reading month. Took a trip today. I got so many books, guys, again. So let's get into it. The first book I got was Wishin' and Hopin' by Wally Lamb. I love Wally Lamb. He's written some of my favorite books. She's Come Undone, fabulous. Read it in high school and was like obsessed with it. And I know this much is true. It is so freaking good. It's maybe 880 pages long, maybe almost 1,000 pages. I read it in 3 days. It's about schizophrenic twins. Anyways, Wishing and Hoping. I got it because it has this Christmassy cover, and it says a Christmas story, and Christmas is in December. I don't know anything about this book. I know it takes place in the 60s and at a parochial school. If it's anything like his other books, I'm sure I'll love it. Goodreads kind of had some mixed reviews. The next book I was so excited about seeing on my library shelf just came out this year, and my library doesn't seem to have very many new releases. And it was just voted Best Historical Fiction on Goodreads. And that is Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. I'm not sure if I'll actually read this. It's humongous. But as I just told you, with Wally Lamb, I read a 900-page book in 3 days. From my understanding, it's historical fiction, and this woman, Ursula Todd, she dies right after she's born, and then she's born again, and there's a lot of like reincarnation, but she's able to have knowledge from her past lives in order to get her on the right track for her current life until she dies again. The next book I have seen all over the place on the internet, and that is Anatomy of a Boyfriend by Daria Snedowski. This one doesn't seem to have too much of a plot. From what I understand, it's about a 17-year-old girl's first relationship, first love, first foray into, adult activities with the opposite sex. This time it's her and a boy. I've seen a lot of reviews of this. I think it should be a pretty quick and fun read, and we'll see how it goes. The next book I've had for quite a while, and that is 45 Pounds, More or Less by K.A. Barson. It is about 16-year-old girl. She's a size 17, and she has a seemingly perfect mother. She is asked by her aunt to be the bridesmaid in her wedding in just a couple of months, and she decides that she doesn't want to be the current size she is now, standing up in front of her whole family. So she decides to lose 45 pounds, more or less. The next book I have also had for a while, kind of just hoard books from my library, is The Paris Wife by Paula McLean. And I mean, who hasn't heard of this book? It's about Hemingway and his wife Hadley in Paris, and kind of about the demands she feels of being Hemingway's muse and the wife of this kind of like enigmatic author. I know this is really popular in book clubs. I'm kind of infatuated with Hemingway. I don't particularly like a lot of his fiction, but I'm kind of fascinated with the man, and I'm sure this is going to be pretty awesome. It's been really popular for a long time. Lastly, another book that I've hoarded from the library, Her Fearful Symmetry by Audrey Niffenegger. The most I've heard about this book, she was an adjunct faculty member at my school, and I heard she got like a crazy advance for this book. She, of course, wrote The Time Traveler's Wife. It turned into this really crazy popular movie with Rachel McAdams. I really like the book. I have it somewhere over here. Her Fearful Symmetry is about twin sisters, and they are left an apartment in London by their aunt, who is the twin of their mother. And they didn't really even know this aunt existed. They go to live in her apartment, and they start meeting her neighbors, and maybe discover that their aunt hasn't really left the apartment at all. I don't know if this will be creepy, kind of quirky, but I really like Time Traveler's Wife, so I'm excited to get into this one as well. I decided to join in the fun of the Sarah Dessen Book Club hosted by Heather at Bookables. This month's book is Lock and Key, naturally by Sarah Dessen. I used to really like Sarah Dessen in high school. I haven't read much of her now that I'm like adultish. I think I read Lock and Key, but I don't remember it by the premise. Ruby has been she's living with her sister, her mother passed away, her dad is, I don't know. I don't remember what this book is about. But I mean, it's Sarah Dessen. I used to really like her, and I'm kind of excited to get in on this Sarah Dessen book club thing, even though this might be the only month that I get to join in because I'm done with the library. Next book that I got was Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I've also seen a lot of this on book blogs and booktube. I'm not totally sure what it's about. I know there's monsters and secrets, and I haven't read a really good paranormal dystopia type of book in a really long time, and I've heard really good things about this one, so I'm hoping that this will carry me through December. So many books. I also got The Lying Game by Sarah Shepard. The Lying Game is the first book in the Lying Game series. Sarah Shepard also wrote The Pretty Little Liars, which I never read. This sounded really intriguing though. A twin, another twin, dies, and her twin sister kind of steps into her life, is what I understand from the synopsis and the cover. She's hoping that she'll find her twin's murderer, I think. Chelsea Chelsea Bang Bang by Chelsea Handler. I read her essay collection, My Horizontal Life, and thought it was hilarious. I think that Chelsea Handler is really funny. I really like her late night talk show. This is just more essays about her saucy bedroom life and her family, her boyfriend. Like I said, I think this will be funny, another quick read to get through. And the last book that I got was Waiting by Carol Lynch Williams, who also wrote The Chosen Ones that I mentioned earlier in this video. It is about a girl whose brother dies, and she's really close to her brother, and rumor starts circulating. Was his accidental death a suicide? Is it because of her? It kind of starts ripping her family apart, and she's trying to find herself again in the wake of her brother's death. That's it, guys. All the books I got from this library trip, I will try to review maybe one or two of them this month. And of course, I'm really excited to show my haul with you guys. I got some really awesome books, and I got them like soups cheap. So I'm excited to share those with you. Let me know in the comments if there are any books in particular that I should read, and let me know if there are any you would like to see a review on. Thanks for watching this, guys. This was so long. See you guys soon. Bye!